Radio has long been one of the most powerful spaces for shaping public conversation, and women have played a crucial role in transforming what is heard, how stories are told, and whose voices are amplified. This Women's Month, we celebrate women who are breaking barriers. They lead in conversations and redefining what is possible in broadcasting. Today, we're joined by two accomplished women who have built remarkable careers in radio journalism. We have international award-winning broadcaster Faith Mangope and award-winning journalist, producer and anchor Esté de Klerk. Ladies, I'm so happy. This is how I want to end my week, is to be in this great company. Thanks for coming in this morning.
Thank you so much for having us.
It's such a pleasure. It's such a pleasure to get you from the mics in front here in the set on television, which is such a great thing. Faith, I want to start with you, and I think it's important to meet the person behind who you are right now, and that's for both of you, because you've often spoken about where you've come from. You know, I mean, standing literally in food queues to get food parcels, and studying from a trick without electricity, and here you sit.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that, and how. I mean, it's hard to dream in those circumstances, but talk to me.
I think it's more importantly, it's about not being able to be confined to those circumstances, and understanding that it's a circumstance. It's not a lifetime. I often go by the saying that it's a bad month. It's not a bad life. You know, so it was a bad moment, it's not a bad life, and if that moment does not define who I am. I'm grateful, Leanne. I think that I'm one of the many people who are really grateful to have come out of that circumstance. But because I've come out, I understand the pain of poverty, which I hate. I hate poverty. I understand the pain of exclusion. You know, South Africans live in such a weird dystopia where we've got the very super ultra rich who can afford, and people who live in poverty, people who are like me, who had to stand in queues every Wednesday and Sunday for food parcels, otherwise they would not eat. And I think that certainly brings a certain consciousness to even the way that I broadcast. I broadcast with the consciousness that South Africans are trying to get by, South Africans are trying to live, South Africans want a better life and a better hope. And how do we package a message so that when they leave the show, they leave having some kind of insight as to how do I make my day a little bit better than what it was yesterday. Yeah,
I love that. And I'm going to speak to you more, because when you're asking questions, it's not just asking a question. This is, as you say, you hate poverty.
I hate it.
And you want better lives for others. So pause there. Esté, I'm coming to you now, because, I mean, you are almost as interesting. Growing up in the Kalahari.
Yeah.
Like, really? Like, from the Kalahari, you sat with your ear pressed against a radio, listening to, you know, journalism. And I mean, how does a young girl from the Kalahari ever dream that they're going to come to the big bad city of Johannesburg and land up behind a microphone? How did it work for you?
Well, I grew up in a home, Leanne, where the radio was on all day long on the old RSG, Afrikaans radio, and coming home from school, my mom recorded my favorite Afrikaans stories on tape, and rushing home and listening to stories.
Wow.
And radio dramas in Afrikaans, coming home, listening to that at night, listening to children's stories at night, and always knowing that I would want to tell people's stories. And even today, being a journalist, being able to tell other people's stories has always been and will always be one of the biggest privileges of my life. And remembering that we have a voice as journalists, and we have the power to enact change, to bring accountability, but that also holds a massive responsibility, and that the story is never about us. That we have that responsibility, and that we need to keep that responsibility in order to be able to tell the story. But growing up in the Kalahari has been a massive privilege, and being able to tell people stories is still a massive responsibility. And throughout my career, going into investigative journalism for many, many years has been a massive privilege in order to unearth stories, to bring change, real change, has always been a very big privilege.
Look how young you were.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
so young.
Isn't that amazing? I'm busy looking at these photographs. I hope the viewers are seeing the same things we're seeing, and I'm just seeing this little young journalist leaning into a story like, you know, let's go, and investigative journalism. That's beautiful. I love it. I'm loving these memories. Faith, you landed in radio by default, apparently. So you accompanied a friend to an audition, and you landed up getting the gig.
Yeah, it's still a tricky one for the both of us.
Still friends?
I mean, he's my bestie. He's my Angela Lowe. Still one of my besties.
Okay.
And
what happened?
it was so I studied at Wits University, and it was one of the days where my lecture got cancelled. I think it was an international relations lecture.
Yeah.
And Angela, wanting to get into radio and to media studies, says to me, "Come with me, friend. Prime Media Broadcasting is at the Lawns." You know, at the time it was at Senate House. We're at the Lawns, and so they're auditioning people. Just stand in the queue with me. And I said, "Well, I've got nothing to do. I might as well. Let's go, friend. Let's go stand in the queue together." Lo and behold, I remember just going into that OB van at the time and meeting with the station manager, Piladi Gwangwa, and having a moment. I think that it was my aha moment that, hang on a second, I want this. And having that moment was so iconic for me, because they literally gave me a script to read. I think it was a traffic report at the time. Gave me a traffic report to read, and I read the traffic report. She turns around to me and she says to me, "Are you able to work, let's say, weekends, public holidays?" I said, yes. I mean, at the time I was just thinking of my home, my circumstances at home.
I'll take anything.
And I will take anything, a job, you know, and a job in radio, of course, yes. And building my way from the ground up. I think that I've had to learn radio, learn it from behind the scenes, learn it from being a call screener. I was a call screener in the most ungodly hours of the night, midnight. It was me on the phone. And from being a call screener to being a producer, to being an executive producer, then to being in front of the microphone has been an absolute honor that I can never take away. I've been dunked in radio, and I appreciate the privilege.
Love it. Your journey sounds the same as mine. I did the same.
It's an
I want to
accident.
high-five you for the traffic desk. I mean, what is it about that traffic desk? It's amazing. But I love that story. I really do. When did it shout to you, Esté? I mean, when was it that you said, or when the bug bit? That's the best way. I'm going to steal that from Faith. When did your bug bite?
I think it was always sort of a thing that I wanted to tell stories, and then I went on to university studying communication science. But of course, at varsity, you don't ever get to really tell stories, and then you get out of that. And I worked for my uncle in his business, and then sent my CV to the SABC, and then the 99 elections came, and I got a call, and came for an interview here in Auckland Park, and then got a call, when can you come? And it was the 99 elections, the second democratic elections. And then immediately came, I think it was only a 4-month contract, and then extended to 2 months extra, and knew nothing. Stepped into the newsroom, was thrown into going to cover a meeting in Soweto, and then was asked my surname, de Klerk, and immediately apprehension at an ANC meeting, de Klerk, stepping into this meeting. But was so excited to be a journalist, and took on every single opportunity that was thrown at me, and stepped up, learned everything I could learn from the get-go. And yeah, that's how my career unfolded.
That's beautiful. It's tough.
Radio journalism, and then I worked for a newspaper for 3 years after that. Went back to the SABC in Bloemfontein, first radio, television, and then went to Carte Blanche for 11 years. And then came back to the SABC.
So, you know, one thing I'm gathering is that in this industry, and perhaps it's in every other industry as well, but in this industry, there's never a clear path.
Yeah.
You navigate through this industry, and you just never know if you're really going to make it. You're just trying. You constantly, you get somewhere and you think, okay, and then there's a setback, and then you go, and then you move in this direction, then you move in that direction, then it's like, okay, I'll do this, I'll go there, I'll do that, then I'll move back here, and I'll do... Was there ever a time when you thought, through this journey, and obviously it's perhaps maybe we can put our women's gear on now, because I want to focus on the fact that you're incredible women, but as a woman, did you face a time where it was like, I can't traverse this perhaps male-dominated section of media, and I want to walk away because it's just too much for me?
Leanne, it's every night.
Still?
It's every night. And because I respect my listeners. I respect the platform that I've been given to be able to talk to South Africans and talk to them at large. But also I'm conscious of the fact that I'm a woman that is tackling politics, and in a very politically contentious time. The political climate is so vibrant, our democracy is so vibrant. And when you listen to the shows that I have, sometimes I'm calling out, you know, especially people who steal from the public purse. You're not stealing from your private purse, you're stealing from the people's purse. And that just gets to me, because then you're taking advantage of people. And when you have conversations of this nature, there are often times when the question is posed of, who do you think you are to be asking me these questions?
Yeah.
You know, because now you are poking the beast, you're poking the bear. And I think for me, it's always remembering that this is not for me. This is not about me. This is about the people that actually who get to have a voice through my medium.
Do you think it's easier for a guy to be interrogating another guy?
I think so. I think at some
Is it
level,
still that look
because
of
there's a little bit of patriarchy.
This woman's got an issue.
And I'm small.
Yeah.
So, you know, on air, when I'm off the mic, it's a different ballgame, because my voice has got a little bit more depth. But when you see me, I remember most of the time, sometimes when guests come into the studio, the first thing that they say is, "You're so tiny."
Yeah.
It's like the one thing that gets, "You're so tiny," and I go, "Yes, I am." You know.
Exactly.
But it's not just about my body; it's about the conversation that we're having. And so, yes, absolutely, every evening. But I think every evening I remind myself it's not about me.
Yeah.
It's about South Africa.
It's fantastic. Esté, do you
Poison
feel
do
that?
come in small bottles.
There we
Don't
go.
ever forget that.
They do. What about you? I mean, you know, in this game, you're in it. I mean, that investigative field is a tough one, because they're threats all the time.
Yeah, and that's, I really want to make a point of that, Leanne, because in that world, in the investigative world, I was really part of a team of investigative journalists and television producers in my carte blanche days, where we were mainly female investigative journalists and television producers, and burning the midnight oil, week by week, unearthing great stories, putting it on air, whilst also supporting each other, maintaining marriages, raising families, doing that work. And that is breaking through barriers.
Absolutely.
By itself.
Absolutely.
Breaking through that barrier, facing crime syndicates, doing undercover work, that is a barrier itself. And facing the barrier of doing that work, facing that barrier of not only the barrier of the woman issue, but also the barrier of being confronted by men,
being aggressive.
Yeah, being aggressive in the field.
Yeah, yeah. And that's a thing.
Towards us.
Yeah, it's a very big thing. Oh, don't tell me that. My director's telling me time is up. There's no way. Okay, let's do this quickly. Okay, I'm going to get into trouble, but I'm going to fire this at you. Are you earning enough money in doing what you do? Do you think men are still earning more than what women do in this field, in broadcasting?
Yes.
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 Yes. What are we going to
Absolutely.
do about it? Why do we talk to other men? Do we know what they earn?
I think that we do not have enough conversations with other men.
Yes.
I think that's the problem.
Yeah.
And I think that if we actually put ourselves out there and say, actually, hang on a second, how much do you earn in
Yeah.
relation to me?
Yeah.
And I think it's also a challenge, and it's put forward to those that are in management, that do you value our input, or do you look at our gender? Which comes first? Is it about our talent, our capabilities, or is it about our gender?
Yeah.
And also, us as women, we need to be able to sit at the table and ask what we're worth. I am worth this amount. I deliver this amount. This is how much I am worth.
Yeah.
Because I tell you one thing, the men do say how much they're worth.
Absolutely.
We as women need to start stepping up and saying, this is what I'm worth.
And that's a real
Yeah,
thing. Perhaps maybe what
absolutely.
we've done as women is this generation of us, burst that door open. There are women in front of cameras, microphones. We do it, but I don't know if we're recognized enough for
Yeah.
what we've done. Okay, this is the last one. The future of broadcasting, what do you think? I promise it's the last one, don't shout at me.
I think we're navigating
going?
through very difficult times at the moment. Resources are dwindling, newsrooms are running empty, and we're all working under very difficult circumstances at the moment. But we're here.
Yeah.
We're showing up.
And we need more.
We're showing
This
up.
is important
We are
work.
here.
It's important
Yeah.
work.
I think that we're at a space where we can chart the way forward and we can trailblaze for the next generation. I think that the more we ask for money, the more we show up, the more we sit at the table, the more we're able to show the women that are coming after us that it's actually possible to navigate this terrain
Yeah.
within the industry, and not just locally, but also internationally. It's time for
Yeah.
women to start thinking globally whilst being in South Africa.
And get to smell Barack Obama. We just got insight from Faith. He smells like soap. Okay, so if you ever wondered, I never did wonder, but if you ever wondered what Barack Obama smells like, he smells like soap. Faith, thank you for that. Now, I'm never, ever going to look at him differently. I like the smell of soap. Ladies, thank you. I love both of you, and thank you so much for speaking our truths. It's all of us. It's all of us.